Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to my Media Prime. This evening, we're going to be looking at the respective commissions created in Cameroon across the years to solve specific problems touching on a specific aspect of our national life. We're talking about commissions that were created, like KONAK, and we have seen the Reconstruction Commission. We've seen the Bilingualism Commission, amongst a plethora of others, with the core objective of solving issues that are touching on our national life. But we're going to be looking at why these commissions have failed to tame destructive habits that are being exhibited by Cameroonians. KONAK was out to tackle embezzlement, but we see corrupt activities amongst Cameroonians almost every day. We see the Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission that was created to tame certain vices in our community, but we know what we are living. So why have these respective commissions failed to attain the desired expectations? We are discussing this with our panelists who are in the house with me this evening. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa is our permanent consultant who is with us. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians, and welcome to today's edition of Prime Hour. It's always a pleasure to be here to dissect and divulge information to Cameroonians who are willing to learn. Stay tuned.
We also in the company of Robert Kedia Malangfe, representing the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM party. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you, good evening to my co-panelists, good evening to all viewers at home that have taken their time to listen to us as we'll be analyzing issues happening in our country. You see, Mr. Kum Leonard, it is written in the Bible that the choirs of angels, they do celebrate when one sinner repents. And so the people of Ngwa have been celebrating and have been happy that one of our sons that took the wrong path of destruction have decided to drop his arm and go to the disarmament commission, and we are calling on order to do same. I weep for someone like No Pity. If he could have listened to our call to drop his arm, he wouldn't have been dead today. So we are calling on all those that are alive, that still have arms, to drop them and join the disarmament centers so that we can rebuild again our nation.
We're also in the company of Prince Joel Mukage, a journalist, and we're glad to have you with us.
It's a privilege to be with you, Kum Leonard. Good evening to my co-panelists, and good evening to those who are watching all over the national territory, most particularly to those who are watching in Mukage subdivision, the land of milk and honey.
Padia Sanga was supposed to be part of this edition of the program. We have issues getting through to him via Skype. We hope that subsequently he's going to be joining us on Prime Hour. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa. Cameroon is described by many persons as a nation of commissions.
Yes, Mr. Leo. If there is any country that has created commissions, even when children cry, it's Cameroon. Cameroon is a nation that creates commissions spontaneously based on situations around. We had the Anglophone crisis, a commission was created. Hate speech commission was created. Human rights commission was created. And so many other commissions in the country. Yet we are having difficulties understanding the purpose of all these commissions, because I think if a few commissions were created and given much responsibility, they would have been able to accomplish so much. To me, I think it's a waste of national resource and the revenue and tax of Cameroonian citizens to pay people who are practically doing nothing, who sit in sessions and go home with huge envelopes without accomplishing anything. To begin with, let's start with the Commission of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, which was created first and foremost to balance bilingualism in the country, to make sure that there is equity when it comes to the language, which has been a reason why the crisis we're experiencing today. Part of the reasons why the crisis we're experiencing today erupted. People complain that they are overthrown or marginalized in the domain of their language. For instance, sending French magistrates to rule cases in English courts.
Okay.
And those are the things that brought up the Commission of Bilingual and Multicultural, also to fight against hate speech. Because most of the things that has caused the Anglophone crisis to be where it is today is hate speech. From the beginning, when people were called cockroaches, 2 cubes of sugar, all those things contributed in bringing Anglophone crisis to where it is. How far have we fought the hate speech even till date? We had a recent situation in Malima where the Bamons clashed with the Bulus because of the same hate speech stuff. One of the things I've always said in this country is that communication has been very, very poor, and it has contributed in fanning aglow the tension in most parts of the country, not just the Anglophone crisis, but in other parts of the country. And those hate speech have also brought different adjectives in describing certain community and ethnic groups in the country. We have the Tontinars, we have the Sardinars.
Yeah.
So those are things that I think drastic and draconian measures should be put in place in order to bring and curb the extension of this hate speech. But we are yet to find out the measures taken by the Commission of Multiculturalism and Bilingualism in order to put an end. We're going to talk about other commissions and their respective responsibilities as the show continues.
Okay. Yes, your net assessment of the efficiency of the commissions created so far by the head of state to address specific problems plaguing the nation, Malangfe.
You see, we have diverse problems, and we know the cumbersome nature of the job of ministers. So the head of state, the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya, has always involved commissions that will be independent to solve the particular problem with effectiveness. And so he brought the idea of commission. But before I start to talk about individual commission, we should also look at the weaknesses of some commission, because for a commission to be effective, first of all, one, they need to have the ability to take legal decision. I will realize that most of our commission hand over reports rather than taking decisions. The only commission that is one of the best in Cameroon, and it's because they don't send report but they carry on their activity. We have the Disarmament Commission that have been receiving these boys. When they come, they receive them and rehabilitate them. The next aspect also that we have about these various commissions are the structure. Are this commission structure at the level of the villages, at the level of the subdivisions, at the level of the divisions, at the level of the regions? That is the main aspect that we are having a problem. If, for instance, we are talking about hate speech and a woman in a village of Furawa, or maybe in a village like Bamali, and there is no representative of a commission of multiculturalism where he can complain, or maybe is there a representative of Konak where she can complain, there you realize that the problem of structure at times they remain at the level of the headquarter in Yaoundé, or maybe at the level of regional headquarter. Now, we also have the problem of personnel. Yes, before the president appoints someone to be head of a commission, the president knows his capacity, and maybe the members of the commission, he knows their capacity. But the other elements that they will bring into the commission by those appointed, do they have that ability to do that job? When you look at somebody like former Governor Yengo Francis and former commissioner that knows many things, when you bring somebody into the Disarmament Commission, which is experienced when it comes to weapon and the rest, he will know what to do to bring out the boys and how to rehabilitate them. But when you bring in somebody that does not have value for what he or she is supposed to do, it becomes a problem. So when we look at this three aspect which has to do with it, which there are things that we should call the head of state to put enough effort. Let Konak be independent. Like when you embezzle money, let Konak, of course, take you to the judiciary and not pass in report. When we analyze this perspective like this, then we will know the weaknesses, and we will know, obviously we know the successes of these commissions and what they have achieved. So we are bringing much more of their weakness so that we can empower this commission to at least obviously do a good job. And as the program continue, we'll be dissecting each commission one after the other to look at their achievement, their weaknesses, and where they can put effort, of course, to have more strength. Mr. Kum Leonard and my co-panelists, I will tell you people that 2 weeks ago, I was frustrated in my house that I didn't know what to do. When one guy, I don't know his region of origin, insulted our mothers, insulted our sisters, insulted our wives, insulted our children of the northwest and southwest region, that they are dirty, they are doing whatsoever. I believe many people saw that video. I was frustrated, Mr. Kum.
When Ibala somebody.
Yes, Sebastian guy. Many people call me from the diaspora to say, Kedia, that is the government you are defending. That is what you are doing, and they are insult. It was frustrating, and I tried all I could to call the commission in charge of that, because at times, to be very honest, I am not bringing, but there are times that we need to say certain things the way they are. Who is the head of the commission in charge of multiculturalism? It's a fellow Anglophone. Who is in charge of Minat? It's a fellow Anglophone. Who were those that were insulted? Who were you expecting to react? So there are certain things that when it happens, we should not permit laissez-faire, but we should react the way we should react. Let other people don't feel frustrated. Let every commission carry its job so that we will solve the Cameroonian problem. Because when this commission, I am a communicator of the CPDM, the problem I'm saying all this is that when these commissions are not effective, they accuse my champion, President Paul Biya, which is something that I don't really feel comfortable about it. So I will say let commissions obviously do their job so that people will not blame the untireable builder of the nation, Cameroon President Paul Biya.
Yes. What is not working with these commissions? Do you have the impression that commissions effectively tackle specific problems in specific spheres to help move the nation forward? From your reading?
Not quite, Mr. Kum Leonard. I think that when I look at commissions that are created in Cameroon, the impression I have is that it's a compensation for political friends. Because when you look at Cameroon, Sonara, a fire incident ravaged Sonara, and a commission was created to investigate and bring to the limelight what actually caused the fire incident. Till today we are waiting. The commission has not spoken yet. The Anglophone crisis has been existing, and plus, to fight hate speech and other vices, the Bilingualism Commission was created. How bilingual is the country is still another issue. And you look even at the level of communication, there's a commission to ensure that if you go against the ethics and the deontology of the profession, of course they should call you to book. But are the commissions independent? Can the commissions take decisions? That's where the issue is, because if a commission has the power and the commission can take its own decisions and effect to ensure that those who have violated the rules of the commission should be sanctioned, that's where the issue is. But now when you look at what is actually happening with the different commissions, Mr. Kum Leonard, I fear, just like Kedia said, I fear that the head of state will trust some people. Of course, when they appoint you to head a commission, it's because they must have made some background knowledge to look about certain things and see how powerful you are. But when we look at the commissions that we have today, I'm afraid that even the head of state, to an extent, should be disappointed in some of those who are heading those commissions. A guy made a statement, Sebastian Ebala made a statement that went viral on social media, that in Yaoundé now it's difficult to enter a taxi and feel free because women from the northwest and the southwest enter taxis and they are stinky, and that is difficult to be. Of course, he was summoned, but today he's a free man. And recently, there's been this issue of hate speech that has been going viral. The commissions held meetings. We saw the Minister of Communication, Rene Manuel Sadi. We saw the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. We saw the President of the Bilingualism Commission, Multiculturalism, Prof. Peter Mafanimo Songe. And of course, after the meetings they held, it is now said that comes in the Secretary of State in charge of the National Gendarmerie, Galas Etoga, who comes in again, instructing all gendarmes that should anyone use words of hate speech, he should, according to the communique he wrote, if you should arrest the person. And now we want to say that these 3 persons who held that meeting, Mr. Kum Leonard, they had all the capabilities, they had everything it took. But now, when you see the gendarmerie now coming in, the gendarme boss coming in to give another instruction, you start asking yourself now, is it that the Bilingualism Commission is not strong enough to take decisions? And that's why recently, some of us who come from the other part of the town in Bonaberi, there's been total arrest in Bonaberi yesterday, which will continue even today, that there has been a lot of hate speech all over the town. I just feel, Mr. Kum Leonard, that we have very good commissions. One of the only commissions that was created that we saw and felt that did something, that even investigated, is when children were killed and pregnant women killed in Garbu, and the head of state insisted that a particular team should investigate and tell what happened. The commission came up and it was clear. The commission told the head of state, after our investigations, we discovered it is military people who burned down those houses. We are saying that it is good to have commissions, Mr. Kum Leonard, but let us see them work. Cameroon at one time, is true, some of us who were very young, had a ministry known as the Ministry of National Education. Yeah, Apostle, which control all. But today, Cameroon has a Ministry of Basic Education, Secondary Education, Higher Education, Vocational Training. All of them, you're asking yourself that, but in the days of Aijo, there was national. The person worked well. And you could see Aijo even going to places. I remember that students of Lycée Muliko went on strike because their food, those who were in the dormitory, they complained that the food we were supposed to have was not given. The next day, the head of state is there and calls, who is the cook? The cook comes out. So I feel that the problem is not even at the level of the commissions, it is the head of state. Why? Because if Apostle Ambe, who is your consultant today, Mr. Kum Leonard, if you felt that he was not delivering the goods, of course, you would have looked for another consultant. But he is still there because the feedback has been there. The people are telling you he's doing a wonderful job. So I think that the problems with commissions in Cameroon, President Kum Leonard, it is not those who are there, but it's the head of state. Look at the CONAC, like you cited. CONAC is headed by a religious fellow. But why is the commission not delivering? I remember that one time in this country, Mr. Kum Leonard, when a crisis was going or taking a certain, the president said there should be a commission for history to rewrite the history. So they should know whether Bakwire, Douala, they are one people. They are one people. Banso, Bamun, or this, they are one people now. So the commission had to rewrite. One of those who were there, Professor Ngwa, who is a respected person. So I think that Kum Leonard, the problem is not the commissions, it's the head.
The problem is not the commission,
it's the head.
Yes, Apostle Ambe Valentine, I was going to ask you whether, is it a problem of our commissions or the persons are voted or appointed to man the structures of these institutions?
Obviously, structures have no value except the persons who occupy the structures give the structures value. This house is beautiful because people live here. Take men out of this place, the beauty is gone. So if a commission is failing, it's the persons in question. I have always said that natural resources don't grow a country. It's human resource, because it is human resource that adds value to natural resource. Gold cannot be what it is until humans add value to gold. Wood remains bad in the forest until human adds value to it to give you a befitting cupboard. So if a commission is not working, don't hold the commission. Hold the individuals who have been given the responsibility. Probably two things may be responsible. Either they are not creative, they are not innovative, they are not adventurous, or probably they are creative, innovative, adventurous, but they are limited in executing their power and executing their responsibilities. Because we live in a country where they will give you the goat and then tie a rope to the goat. They will give you an office, but they don't give you the power to execute your rights in that office. I think most of the commission and the heads are suffering because they don't have that authority to exercise their rights in those commissions. For instance, how do you explain that a meeting is held in Boya? People use statements like, people we do not like. That's a very delicate statement.
Yeah, but a correction was made. A correction was made to that to that statement.
A correction was made to the statement.
A correction was made. Yeah, please. We should build peace. We should not add. Yes.
No, nobody is adding. We are discussing a topic. It's a topic we are talking. So
I'm sure the person who made that statement said was put out of context.
We are fighting.
He gave a context. So we should not add to.
We are trying to tell the commissions their responsibility, and that's the reason why we're trying to point out some of the problems in the society. The commissions, not to judge anybody, but they were supposed to have at least come out to do the correction. So it's very, very important. Like I said, something happened recently in Sangmalima. It was a clash between two persons. Somebody from Bamun, another person from the Bulu land had a clash, and then somebody was killed. And then there was an uproar, and then suddenly that thing died. We are yet.
The same day, the minister is there,
no,
and the governor is there.
It was a day. This happened a day after the Minister of Territorial Administration said that any person was going to be found wanting in this situation. Yes.
Yes. So that's what I'm trying to make you understand, that we keep having these commissions, and we keep having. There's a human rights commission in this country, and that human rights commission permits you to live anywhere in this country as a citizen, because the territorial boundaries of this country does not make any person a stranger anywhere. A Northwesterner is not a stranger in the Southwest, so they should not be called Kamnogo. A Bamun is not a stranger in Bulu land, so they should not be called strangers. The fact that somebody is considered a stranger in his own country is already a question mark. What is the function of the Human Rights Commission? That's supposed to give every Cameroonian the possibility to stay anywhere in the nation. That's what the problem is. People are being chased from the Southwest. That's the Bamile case. Bamile case is not a stranger in the Southwest. Neither is he a stranger in the Northwest. A Northwesterner is not a stranger in Yaoundé. Neither is he a stranger in Douala. So they should make sure that all these things are being fought. Now, if commissions are there to fight these things, why is it that these things go unpunished when they are carried out? Because I'm sure the persons who carried out those acts in Sangmalima were supposed to have been brought to book and then sanctioned with public notice to make us understand these commissions are actively working. When the military forces carried out the act in Gabu, they were sanctioned, and some of them were sent into prison, and it was made public. People were at least appeased, people were pacified to understand that, okay, judgment has been given to those who carried this hideous act. But unfortunately, things happen in the country and they go scot-free. We see people sit down to regulate issues after crisis occur, but you don't see any measures taken after those meetings are held. This is where the challenge is. So we have a problem in the society because we keep us setting commissions, and all these commissions have a budget they are running on.
Of course.
They are operating on taxpayers' money. They are operating on the revenue of the country.
They have luxurious
People
cars
have
and uniform
cars
officers
and comfortable houses. They have protocol officers that take care of them. They have sessions. Each of those sessions, they come out with budget. They come out with money. Why pump money in commissions that are not executing anything? I think the split of all these commissions here and there, I don't know if the Ngabu commission was a temporary commission or it is still existing till now, because since Ngabu passed, because it was a Ngabu commission and there has been nothing again in Ngabu. Are those people still working, or they lost their job after Ngabu incident passed? Because if the Ngabu commission is still existing till now, there's a waste of income. Nobody has died again in Ngabu. Children have not been shot anymore in Ngabu. So if people are still eating money from Ngabu, then Ngabu is a sucker, is a parasite. The Ngabu Commission is something that is wasting natural resources. we are talking about hate speech. Serious measures were supposed to be taken to bring put an end to hate speech in this country. Campaign was supposed to be carried out in different school campuses, in different offices, in different places, and even media houses were supposed to have been given money to run projects for against hate speech. But we are yet to find the media houses in Cameroon being sponsored.
Well, any other person can receive money for the job done. We are supposed to do free services. Unfortunately, yeah.
No, what I'm talking, no, you don't know what I'm saying.
Communication that is the most important is always relegated to the back door.
Is that not what I'm talking about?
Yes, we can gather people, buy beer for them to drink, we buy food, we spend 20 million, we can organize a program, we spend 20 million, but to give 1 million to the press that is going to announce and educate.
Mr. Lu, allow me fight for the press. You are a journalist. You can't blow your own trumpet. Allow me as an analyst to fight for the press, because I think that the press has a very important role. The press has helped to shape the society. If we have a certain level of calmness and peace today and serenity, because the press has fought heavily to bring people to a place of consciousness. Many people were fighting out of ignorance. Many people were blind to what was happening. Many intellectuals came on platforms and then divulge information that individuals now came to clarity and understood that maybe we were fighting this thing without understanding the actual reason why we were fighting. Now this intellectual has come and people's anger were dying down. I think, like I said, when it comes to this issue of hate speech, the media houses have a very pivotal role to play, and those commissions are supposed to meet different media houses, invest in them to get panelists that can sit on air and be able to fight that thing severely, because I believe this issue of hate speech is as a result of ignorance, and people are not even aware that there is a commission and measures are going to be taken against those who are bringing hate speech in the country. You won't understand. It was a speech on a radio program in Rwanda that sparked off the genocide in Rwanda. It was a common speech over the radio in 1994 that took 260,000 to 1 million souls. We know what wars have done. If the Anglophones are angry today, they will hold on to something. They call us cockroach. They call us two cubes of sugar. They've held on to that for years. There was a simple statement, and that's how it is. People have made simple statements that have costed the lives of individuals. So I think that if the commissions are really working, they have to use the media houses to combat hate speech and to bring sensitization. They have to send individuals equally on ground to start planting the seed.
They're organizing seminars in Yaoundé.
Semi what?
Seminars that cost millions.
Anyway, I'm giving free consultation. They are not paying me. The next panelist can speak.
Okay, I just asked on my official page. That is a Kum Leonard official page. If you are watching and you want to actually get updates on what's happening, go to, or if you're on Facebook, go to Kum Leonard official, and you will be able to follow us on most of the things we are doing. Jume, writing on our page, says cosmetic solutions. Mark Nune Ernest Ngwen says, watching live from Elak Oku. My sincere gratitude to the panelists. Gondo Ignacio says, good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm watching from Bamenda. Akao Genesis says, I'm watching from Womb. The network is disturbing. Akao Genesis, are you watching from Bikom Kwata or from Three Corners or from around post office runabout or GTC Junction out there in Womb? Gilbert Buji, he says it's simply because the commissions are created to satisfy some particular individuals and not the population as a whole. LC Ngondong says, I'm watching from Isu. LC Ngondong, glad to read from you. I'm sure you're watching from Dongombo out there in Isu. Wujung Kumbum Richard says, simple, they were never created to meet any clear expectations from the people, but to act like a smoke screen, fooling the people from the hidden agenda. And Jamsi Franklin says, I'm watching from Yaoundé. Lily White and 4 says, I'm watching live from Kumba. They failed because they were never created with good intentions. Lum Leslin says, I'm watching from Bafusam. Fosco C. Mbi says, I'm watching from Basa Bakoko Douala. Eileen Zerai says, I'm watching live from Douala. Bonaberi, good evening to you, Eli. Many persons think that the persons that were appointed were not the right persons. The President of the Republic may have a vision, and he was voted into office under a particular manifesto. You say, can we conclude that he's been betrayed by those he's appointing to accompany him, bring unity and sanity in Cameroon's public space?
The President of the Republic, before he appoints somebody, he knows the person.
Okay.
And a commission is headed by one person, which is very clear. But that one person is not working alone. If the President of the Republic, he has worked with somebody like Peter Mafane Musonge, that have been Prime Minister, he has been Senator, he understands him very well, and he appoints Senator Peter Mafane Musonge to hold on a commission like this. I still explain that a commission is all about their structure. Alone, Peter Mafane Musonge cannot work, but he needs to have structure representative at the regional level, divisional level, and even subdivisional level to do his job. You can be the best person with all criteria, and you are head of institution of people that don't have a certain value that you buy to work with them, you will definitely have some difficulties. Now, there are follow-up commission and there are investigative commission. The issue of Ngabu was a commission that was aimed to investigate the situation at that time and deposit the result and go away. Like the issue of the child in Lakantini, that a commission was about to be created to investigate the issue regarding to that child. That was their job. And after that, they are done. The Bilingualism Commission is a state commission. There is a commission that does follow-up of the Grand National Dialogue and how things are going. That commission is there. Reconstruction is there. But the Peter Mafane Musonge Commission is a one that obviously is faced with many problems in the Republic nowadays.
Isn't it better to describe it as a Bilingualism Commission than to be personalizing it?
You see, it is the Bilingualism and Multicultural Commission that have a head as the former senator. So the two we can separate, because the success of the commission lies in the hand of him that was appointed.
So you can quickly separate when it comes to the President of the Republic and his collaborators.
You see, the President of the Republic is the President, the head of state, and he's not a member of the government. So ministers are member of government headed by Prime Minister. So I always separate things. I would like to talk about this issue of tribalism.
Okay.
You see, Mr. Kum Leonard, in Europe, countries were created based on the aspect of nationalism. That is, in Europe we have nations, but in Africa we have states. And the issue of tribalism is found everywhere in Africa, where you see, and it is always centered about over politicians. That Yoruba, they'll think that they are the one controlling now because Tinubu is there. Yausa, they'll think they are the one controlling because Buhari was there, and so with the other aspect. And when you look at, to accuse somebody of tribalism is actually very, very complicated, the way some of us may easily analyze it. Let me give just this example. In the West region, if you come from Departement de Ndé, that is usually Bafang, you can never be a parliamentarian from Bambutus. We have not seen it for now. If you come from Old Camp, if you are from Bafang and you see yourself in Chang, you cannot be a parliamentarian there. But you realize that in Douala Littoral, we have more than 5 parliamentarians from different regions, whereas in other regions, it's impossible. Sorry, we should be realistic when we want to solve this problem. Assuming a francophone man is a parliamentarian in Baso, how do you see that reality? Now, when the people of Douala, they come up to revindicate, will we definitely call them tribalistic? It's complicated to analyze such aspect. If a particular region say they don't want to see a particular region, people from a region in their own region, yes, we will condemn it. But when the people that they say they don't want to see in their region are found
of calling them lazy, would you say they are wrong? So it is very, tribalism is complicated to analyze it, because when you see those criticizing, they have their own reason, and those complaining that they are being criticized, they have their own reason. So the issue of tribalism is very, very complex, but the issue of hate speech is not complex. They are two different things. Now, going back to our commission, we have commissions that have done their job and they are succeeding. The Disarmament Commission, they are succeeding. They are there, especially in the Ghana. If you take the figure of Boko Haram militants that have dropped their arms, because some people may have the impression that this commission is for Northwest and Southwest. No, it's for the Republic of Cameroon. And we have many militants of the Boko Haram terrorist group that have dropped their arms. We have many in the Northwest and Southwest that have dropped their arms. We should look at the success of that commission. And now, why is that commission succeeding? The head of the person leading the commission, Yengo Francis, has that capacity to manage it, and it is succeeding. Now, another commission that is there is the Commission of Human Rights Commission, which we all know. You see, even in America, they are not happy with the way things are in the country, and Americans will say they are suffering in America. But when an African leaves Africa and goes to America, he's happy that he's in heaven. What do I mean? I mean, what I'm struggling to say is that human want is never enough. The commission actually is doing their job, but people will keep on revendicating. But okay, I will tell you people that, Mr. Kum Leonard, Cameroon is one of the countries that we have freedom of speech. There are other countries that when you are even talking on TV and you insult a member of government, the military will come and pick you live, and people will see. We are talking about commissions. I'm talking about a commission of human rights that they are actually doing their job. Okay, and when we talk about human rights, it has to do with freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. They all go under human rights, because we talk about human rights. There are 31.
We see the freedom in the expression of opinions and mobilization by the political parties in Cameroon. Opposition political parties, are they that free?
When we talk about movement, it's in general, except that you want to go in some particular ideas, which you may give your own reason that they are not effective. But if you look at MRSA, that's the political party. I am free to call a name. I assume what I'm saying. I saw them marching in Yaoundé, and forces of law and order were there to secure them. I saw the grandeur of the democracy of our country and the respect of human rights. You people didn't see it? Military forces were there to supervise this guy, and those are things we should applaud. That the Human Rights Commission is actually doing a good job.
Robert, I'm coming. Yes, please. Belinda and Jeba says, I greet all in the house of intellectuals, so I can't watch, okay, because of light. Belinda, good evening to you. Nguge Pelagie says, I'm watching from Yaoundé. Els Plaza says, I'm watching from Boya. Tonlung Christian Wazizung, the beautiful agricultural town of Kongsamba, watching. Okay, good evening to everybody watching us from Mungo Division. Elvis Tema watching from Boya. It is just another way of sharing money to ruling party loyalists blindly. The best way to understand this is that we live in a country without strong institutions, but centered on strong personalities. B. Allen says, good evening, sir. I'm watching from Yaoundé. Giret Ma says, good evening, Mr. Kuma. I really like your programs. I'm watching from Bamenda Upstation. Okay, a small Mami Eve says, Evelyn Capsule watching from Yaoundé. Governor Abiya Clinton live from Bafoussam. Good evening to you. Yes, do you agree with some persons who think commissions are created to compensate our persons? But we're talking about commissions that run budgets. How do you create a commission where budgets are going to be allocated simply because you want to compensate persons who have served this nation already and supposedly are supposed to be resting?
Of course, Mr. Kum Leonard, I think that commissions are created in Cameroon to compensate political friends.
Okay, I'm coming back to you, please. I'm told that Paddy Asanga is online. Good evening, Paddy. We're glad to note that you are there.
Yes, Mr. Lee, good evening to all your brilliant panelists. It's always a pleasure to be on your platform. You know, I'm 33 years old, and I'm proud to be 33 years old because I'm SDF. So I want to say greetings to Apostle Ambe, greetings to Prince, Kedia, and all the people that you have invited. And when you invited me on your platform, I was very happy to talk on this topic. But when you told me that your technicians claimed that the Skype was going to be the problem, I said, okay, so it be, but I'm happy to join you people in the middle, and I will come in as somebody who has participated in debate or has assisted in some of the commissions. You know, Mr. Leo, I was part of the major national dialogue, and I went to a commission that I do not want to go to, but I was competent in that commission, and that commission is successful. The commission is only as good as the person who heads the commission. And commissions are not permanent structures. The commissions are created to solve ponderant situations, that is, situations that are immediate. We want to compare two commissions that were created in order to solve the crisis and the arms, the arms, people carrying arms in northwest and southwest region, because I don't see it as a war. You will want to put two things on the balance. So people will say that Mr. Bia is rewarding some of his friends. True or false, I don't know, but being part of some of these initiatives, I already know, and I have some takeaways from what I have been to and where I stand. And people say they pay people who are in commissions. It's not true. I was in the commission for the disarmament and demobilization, whereas I wanted to go to the commission where they would be discussing about the constitution. But all the same, whether I went to one commission or the other, we were giving stipends, and it ended there. So if a commission has completed its job, then it ends there. And you people know what we did with the money that they gave us. We gave it to prisoners, and we gave it to internally displaced. Those of us of the opposition, those of the government who also received stipends, they have not told you people what they did with the stipends that were given to them. So, the commissions proper. I am also a member of the commission of the National Dialogue. I don't have a salary, and when they call us to come and sit down and talk, then they prepare how to receive us, where we'll meet, what we'll talk about or what we'll not talk about, and some of us come with solutions already made or with our own idea, because if you are a political actor like myself, trained in the Social Democratic Front, a militant of the SDF, you should always anticipate situations because you intend to govern someday. So when you look at, I'll put two commissions on the balance that are headed by two Anglophones, and I just heard from one of your panelists who is of a different political party, but both members, I don't think they are. I don't know if Governor Faye Yengo Francis is a member of the CPDM or he was just a governor who has governed a city like Douala and knows how to handle a certain situation. And when you look at a commission, he heads the Disarmament and Deradicalization or Demobilization Commission. He does that. And then you take another commission, like somebody who has been the prime minister, and he parades himself as the member of, as a prime minister and a member of CPDM, who says and who spills out hate speech, then you already understand that.
No, please, Paddy, please. we are here to promote peace. We are not here to I don't know where the person you are talking about actually
promote peace when you hide lies.
No. Just make your point. Don't. We are not here to index a person's please party. When they say somebody or when persons come on air to index you, it doesn't add to this. We should discuss ideologies and not personalities. Please, just continue.
Yeah, but we are talking about a commission. The head of the commission is not about the person. I don't have any problem with the person. If I was one of those people who came for the follow-up of the national dialogue, and I've been following up, and I took the role that I started playing. I took it diligently, and you know what we do behind the scenes to make sure that this thing comes to an end. But if I go and start saying that the people of the Northwest or the Southwest and so on and so forth, and then you get this Betty Bulu discourse and so on and so forth. So the commissions are only worth who hates them, the people that stand ahead of them. Then, and you get the saying that a fish starts getting rotten from the head. So if you want commissions to succeed in Cameroon, look at the people who hate them, and then you look at their pedigree, go and check their backgrounds. That's why in certain countries, they vet people before they put them somewhere.
Okay,
you understand?
Yes, Paddy, your point has been made, but we have so many commissions in Cameroon. There is Konake that is there to check corruption, embezzlement. There is ANIF and a host of others. There are commissions that are set to.
I just took two examples.
Yeah, but there are commissions. Let me come, Paddy. I'm cueing you. There are commissions that are set to check road accidents. There are so many commissions. I don't know why we are so particular about specific commissions that are headed by.
Why will you create a commission to go and check road access whether there is a ministry in charge of public works and development? Why will you create commissions like that? We know that roads have to be built. We know that councillors, municipalities have the right or have the prerogative to control accesses and so on and so forth. So some of these commissions are obsolete, but some of the commissions, they have their place. And from my own understanding, my own layman understanding of what a commission is, it is there to respond to a certain situation that just popped up. And some of these commissions, they say ad hoc commission because the commissions are not permanent. But in Cameroon, it seems as if because of the hyper-Jacobin system, when there is a problem, they create commissions that don't disappear, create commissions that are even stronger than the organs that are supposed to maybe take roads access or punish people who have embezzled funds. You create CONAC, you create NIF, you create all sorts of things that you have created. They create extrajudicial institutions, which are, some people say that it's a political tool in the hands of Mr. Bia. That is also a commission. Because if people stop to embezzle today, if people stop to embezzle money today, what will be the role of the special court that Mr. Bia created? So we should look at it from all angles and not see things from a blind side.
Okay, Paddy, we're coming back. We are coming right back to you after this short break.
Sometimes you need to check on your loved ones and catch up the latest gist. Other times you need to teach your parents how to download apps or even take job interviews over phone calls. Indeed, there are moments when we really have much to say. Orange Bonus Calls gives you that power to call and talk freely for less. Subscribe to Orange Bonus Call bundles on #111*1# and even convert your call bundle into data via My Orange.
Orange.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime on my Media Prime. We are going to continue with you, Robert Malangfe. Okay, Israel. Yes, you are the one who was supposed to talk. We were looking at the fact that persons were compensated for positions, and but do these commissions actually, are they given the powers to deliver themselves?
It's difficult, like Apostle said. What is going on is as though you sell your goat and still hold the rope, making it difficult for the buyer to take home their product. I'm saying so because, Mr. Liu, when you look at Cameroon well, lots of ministries are under minister delegate at the presidency. It means it's a president. In Cameroon, there is minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betiasomo. You're asking yourself, who is the minister of defense? Because he's not the minister of defense. When you look at the gendarmerie, it is minister secretary of state at the presidency in charge of the national gendarmerie. So it becomes very, very difficult. That's why, Mr. Leo, commissions are created. Of course, the person who creates the commission, who is the head of state, may have very genuine intentions. Will want the commissions to probe into a particular issue. But you're asking yourself, what next? I remember that after the major national dialogue, there was a commission that was created to go to the Northwest and the Southwest and tell the people about special status. Till date, you're asking yourself where the commission is. And of course, we also have regional councillors. How many Cameroonians know? Go to Mukage, for instance, and tell them, okay, this is your councillor, municipal councillor, whom they see. But now ask them, who is your regional councillor? Many don't know. So I feel that, like Apostle said, it's just wasting the taxpayers' money. Why? Because when all these commissions are created, Mr. Kum Leonard, all these commissions have offices.
Of course.
We have today, there is a public independent conciliator in the Northwest and the Southwest. You want to ask yourself what he's doing. How many people even know the role of...
It's not a commission.
It's not a commission. I'm talking about all these things. It's an institute. No, Kedia. All these things are created to solve a problem. A commission is created to solve a problem. But it said something, and maybe you want to put it that the major national dialogue had 8 commissions that were ended after that. But now commissions were created later on. There's a commission for the follow-up, yes, for the implementation of the major national dialogue resolutions.
Paddy is part of
you're asking yourself
every year.
No, you're asking yourself. Paddy is an individual, I don't want to know. But you're asking yourself, what has been implemented? Each day, but when they come to whole sessions, there is a whole budget for that. And I feel that, Mr. Kum Leonard, Cameroon would have been better off when we had just the Ministry of Secondary Education, or National Education rather. Cameroon would be better off without these commissions, because we are not seeing the fruits. If you ask a Cameroonian of what importance is the ministry, or rather the commission for bilingualism, DDR is doing a wonderful job, like Kedia said, true, because at least we see people who are presented to us that they have at least dropped their arms. It means the commission is doing something, and they have joined the DDR center. It tells you that the commission is doing something. I feel, Mr. Kum Leonard, that let us reduce these commissions, because when these commissions are created, it means the individuals already start having a budget. It means the individuals have service cars. It means the individuals have personal guards. But if you want to fight hate speech, for instance, if the government comes, brings a communicator here, or gives money to my Media Prime to sensitize the public, look at the number of people you have read already. Those who are watching from Kongsamba, who are watching in Womb, who are watching in Yaoundé. You are sensitizing the people. Apostle talked about what happened in Rwanda. But I remember that one of the theories in journalism is the agenda setting. Those who came up with the theory of agenda setting, they discovered that during the American elections, what the people in the quarters were saying they needed is what the media was saying. You don't play with the media. But unfortunately in Cameroon, the media is nothing. We have had statements that have gone on media, like Apostle said, and I'm tying with him that statements went on media where a group of people were described as cockroaches. What do? You sanction them. I remember the National Communication Council invited an individual who insulted a group of people. Unfortunately, the individual won the National Communication Council, and the National Communication Council rather had to pay money to the individual. You start asking yourself, why? I think that, Mr. Kum Leonard, it is time that the government understood the prowess of the media. I went to Mr. J and I was shocked, Kum Leonard, that people watch Prime Hour as though it was a football match. They come and gather, you see people watching, and what they are saying.
That's true.
What you are saying, what Apostle says here, somebody takes it as law. But now, unfortunately, we are living in a country where the media is nothing. I have big friends who have told me, vous allez seulement bavarder et vous allez faire quoi? They know that you come and say, they just tell you. At times we even talk too much. They say, no, that man is hungry. If they give him something to eat, he will not talk again. So it's unfortunate. And I think that if you want to rate our commissions, Mr. Kum Leonard, I gave you a very simple example. Sonara caught fire. A commission was created. We are waiting on that commission to come and tell us what happened in Sonara. Till date, nothing has happened. But these people have their service cars. They have a lot of advantages they are enjoying. But you, Kum Leonard, is doing a wonderful job. Of course, they just know that all they need is to bring you in.
Okay, I don't know. Bring me into what?
Bring you in, like, no, Mr. Kum. What I'm saying is, this is my point. This is my point. I have the opportunity to sit with top people. Many persons in Cameroon feel that when you are educating like Apostle is doing this because they have not brought you in. And of course they know that when you're making, to them they call it noise. Most big people when they watch it say, let's wait by find a very unfair. But I feel, Mr. Kum Leonard, that it is time our government understood the place of the media and gave the media its own place.
That's the only way to make money in Cameroon. The government to want to give us work. Emmanuel is writing from Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the studio. Ayuk Thomas watching live from Pamol, Nzian Division. Okay, Pamol, Nzian Division. Which camp are you watching from? Because I was born in Camp 7 out there in Ambe Estate. That's where I was born. Good evening, Mr. Kum. These commissions are created to help some civilian militants. Eric, you writing from Ziki. Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm Franklin Fung. I'm watching from Yaoundé, Timbok. I love your program. Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is Ernest from Being Phoebe. I just heard you talk of a commission to control road accidents. Why wait for accidents to occur before commissions is created? Why not create a standard route to avoid these accidents? Good evening, Mr. Kum. Most commissions have failed us because of insincerity. Let's have a paradigm shift of doing things right, and the right results will show erasing the destructive habits. Keep reshaping the thinking of Cameroonians. I am enjoying the way you moderate the program, praying and hoping for a positive change, for peace to reign in our beloved country. John in Ghana Street in Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Leonard, and to all the panelists. Are from one commission to another. Creating a commission is like you tell someone that you are hungry and they take a plate of food and rub it on your stomach. That is Cameroon for you. Hello, Mr. Kum. It's been a while. Did I hear one of your panelists say the head of state is not a member of government? What is his position in the country then? Paddy Brown is writing from Abamenda, the best tailor. around Fontra Street out there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm watching from Bamenda, Commercial Avenue. Thanks for teaching us with your great program and great minds. Hello, sir. Good evening to all of you guys. I'm Kala Tabe, writing from Limbe, Isokolo. I know commissions are being created to handle targeted affairs. Commissions fail in Cameroon due to lack of the exercise of democracy. Good evening to you. Good evening. I'm Reverend Sister Tina, watching from Mwambo Bafuta. Good evening to you, sister. Glad to read from you. Now, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. These commissions have been created, and you see they're not working according to expectations. But we have so many ministries in Cameroon. Let's take the case of ministry in charge of multiculturalism or the commission. Should the Ministry of Culture, a department of that ministry, not handle this? Talking about our ministry, CONAC, and a host of others, should the Ministry of Justice not just do what CONAC is doing? Because so far, what has been the net output of CONAC?
I've said it and I'm still saying it again. A lot of offices are created in this country to satisfy disgruntled Cameroonians who do not have an opportunity to partake in the national cake. We have seen offices being created in this nation that has, practically they have nothing to contribute. How do you explain that we have a delegate of health in Southwest and we have a commissioner of health?
For the Southwest region? For
the Southwest region. Under the regional, Kedia, you have forgotten your government. Under the regional assembly, you have a delegate. You have a delegate of education. You have commissioner of education. You have governor. You have a regional president. You have a public conciliator, and you have DUs and SDUs. Why are all these people? What is their function?
I'll explain to you their function.
No, I'll explain to. I'm already explaining to you before you come to explain to me. Yes, because the document we signed at the DO's office are the same document we signed at the mayor's office. So I'm beginning to doubt the function of a mayor and that of a DO. I'm beginning to doubt the function of a regional president and that of a governor in the same region. And the governor is considered the chief administrator, while the regional president is called the chief executive officer of the region. So we have two chiefs in one region. Now, why are all these offices created? We have a lot of people we have not been able to satisfy. So we now create offices in order to make them also have a part of the national cake. I do not want to call some offices here, it will be like I'm attacking the persons in question. And I don't come on air to attack individuals. I come to contribute and to educate the masses. And I believe my communication on the platform and every platform you see me is to help better the nation. But to be sincere, the way finances are managed in this country, they are not helping the situation. We have bad roads, but we have more offices. The amount of money we use to pay workers who are occupying offices that have no function will give us better roads, better airports, better seaports, and it will also help to give us better hospitals and better schools and other structures in the country. Why create all these offices? This is because we have given people the impression that it's either you are in the public service or in the civil service that you will make money. Such persons who are occupying those offices were supposed to be given power to control the private sector, push them in the domain of business. I don't see the reason why we're having a governor of a region and a regional president. Those are supposed to be given opportunity as capital in doing business. Because I think what has caused China to grow is that China has shortlisted men who cannot work in the government and giving them capital to boost the private sector. That's the reason why Chinese individuals can create banks that Chinese government can take money from those banks and loan to African countries. Why do we make sure that we are trying to create even small gaps to feed people in all the civil service and almost every sector? It looks like every Cameroonian growing up is targeting either a public office or a civil service office, which is not advisable. I think if at all they were limiting the responsibilities of the civil and the public service, you have given Cameroonians the focus in the area of business. Instead of creating an office and giving somebody that will cost him embezzle money there, why not remove some amount of money and give to individuals to set up businesses that can able to bring tax and revenue and employment to the community? I think we are almost trying to satisfy everyone by giving them office offices. We can satisfy individuals in this country by giving them incentive and capital to start up businesses. That is a nation like China who will work in the government, who will not work in the government. That's the reason why they have empowered the private sector. If we realize that we do not have sufficient offices in this country to employ everyone, we could call individuals and ask them the line of business they can engage into, give them capital to boost up the economy in that area. You must not contribute in Cameroon by occupying an office, because everyone that enters into politics today is waiting for an appointment to either be a regional, a legislative, a this and that, this and that. As you are sitting here, Kedia, if you are saying you're going to give you 200 minutes to start business, you will tell me that no, you are waiting for the next regional office to occupy. That consciousness has killed the private sector, and that's the reason we keep creating offices. Ministry of Territorial Administration and Decentralization, we chop it into two. Now it's a Territorial Administration, Decentralization. Basic education, secondary education, higher education, vocational training, international education. We've chopped it all. Now it has come on. Why are we creating these offices? Because we believe that almost everybody should be given an office to occupy. All Cameroonians are not civil servants. All Cameroonians are not public servants. There are Cameroonians who are supposed to be in the business sector. You've kept them into offices because you are trying to please them. And it has caused them to steal, because what they are getting from those offices cannot please them and satisfy their demands. And this is the reason why we are trying to press in this country, and speaking as a citizen, that we should encourage the private sector. Not everyone that joins a political party is waiting for the next appointment here, next appointment here. Everybody wants to be a vice principal, a principal, a DO, a councillor, a this and that. If you ask every militant of the ruling party, they are looking for the next appointment, they are looking for the next market, they are looking for the next capital, they are looking for the next business. I think in all those respective parties, they should raise more businessmen than civil servants. 366 parties are in 50 parties in the Cameroon. We are creating more offices than political parties. As a matter of fact, we have been talking about the emergence of many political parties. We have to discover the emergence of unwanted offices, creating offices here and there because they want to fit individuals here. The truth is the government does not have the capacity to accommodate all Cameroonians. They should not be creating offices that are not existing. The money you are paying for 3 ministers in 3 different ministries should be compiled and given to one individual. To give it to an individual. If somebody runs Minister of National Education, you will not pay basic education, you will not pay secondary, you will not pay higher. That will reduce the cost. So I think if we work in this manner, it's going to help us. And then we have to change the paradigm. That is the mindset of the individuals, to understand that life is not in public service and civil service. Life is in the business terrain. In those days, when people, there are businessmen in this country, in those who were empowered by Ijo. He gave them capital to begin business, because not everybody had a place to occupy in the civil service. And I think that's what we should be thinking right now.
Okay.
If we are in the political party, the party should be thinking of how to empower businessmen, not just looking after everyone.
Okay, Jiret Ma says, good evening, Mr. Kum. I really like your program. I'm watching from Bamenda upstation. Small Mami Eve says, Kapsu. Governor Abiye Clinton, Bafu Sam, Mark Nune, Ernest Ngwa says they failed because all the commission's members are appointed based on political genealogy and not based on competence. Kudos to you, Mr. Kum. Obase Tilili says, greetings, Mr. Leo. I'm watching from the nation's economic capital here in Douala. Cletus Aguilo says, good evening, Mr. Kum. I love your programs. I think a commission should fully be given the right to exercise their power. Watching from Bambili. Mbata Desmond. Good evening, Mr. Kum. And your panelists, the topic of today is quite educative. I'm watching from Chang. Good evening, Mr. Kum, and greetings to Apostle Ambe, watching live from Yaoundé. Banke Ken writing there. Ghislaine Ngala says, I'm following up from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. And the panelists are more power to your able. Thank you. The commission are being headed by the ruling party. They just do anyhow. Governor Abiek writing them. Ngala Evelyn Bongbimi says, good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening to you and able panelists there present. I'm watching you live from the political capital city of Cameroon, Yaoundé. On a serious note, I'm yet to understand the reasons behind creating those set commissions, because I don't seem to see them coming to fruition in any way. I consider that a waste of taxpayers' money at the detriment of the masses. Okay, this one says, good evening. Bad intentions for creating them will always produce no results. If there were strong institutions in the country, all these commissions wouldn't have surfaced. Lambi Domu Tu Etia writing, what child table says some of these young CPDM guys are not helping matters. I'm sure they're talking to you. Kedia. But Kedia, some persons think that commission members are members from the CPDM party, and they're using the party cap not to fully deliver.
That is one of the perspectives that some people use to analyze. You see, the CPDM party is one of the biggest party in the world, and it's a party that in all families there is a representative there. So there's everywhere. Now, when they are appointing, should they only appoint opposition? They are all there in the Senate. Everywhere they are represented. In Jangi houses, they are there. So when it comes to appointment, automatically they will always be there. However, I don't see it as a reason. You see somebody like the former Prime Minister, Peter Mafane Musonge, abandoned the Senate and went back because he wants to save Cameroonians in the Commission of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. And since he has been there, we are seeing all ministries now signing their communiques in English and in French. We are seeing the way things are changing. And we should acknowledge them. We should not keep this idea of he is from the CPDM, he is Bulu, he is from this region. We want to see what they are doing performance. And if today we are talking about commissions, we should look at their weaknesses and give idea how they can be strong. I listened to one of the messages you read when one of the viewers said that these commissions should be given the powers to execute. And I'm also okay with him. I think that CONAC should be given the power to arrest, like the way EFCC is doing in Nigeria. Those are the things we should be saying. We are there to look their weaknesses and tell them that, sirs, you people in these commissions, these are your weaknesses and these are the things we expect from you people. There are not double institutions here. And I don't know of any institution that there are two of them and they do the same job. In the National Assembly, there is a Commission of Education. In the Senate, there is a Commission of Education. In the Regional Assembly, there are commissioners of various ministerial positions. That's why you talk about the Commissioner for Health, the Commissioner of Education, because these regional assemblies are there and they need to work with the government, which are the regional delegation and the divisional delegations. These are the perspective in which we should see things. The regional conciliator is there to solve domestic problem between councils and the rest. That is his job. We should not say that their jobs. I am shocked today that Apostle Ambe will say that the job that the council is doing is the same that the DO is doing. The DO does not sign marriages, sir. It's the council that does that. So you can't say they do the same thing. They all have their jobs, and we should say things the way they are. There is no institution that they are doing the same thing. No. They all have their independent function. You will not say the regional delegation of health and the commission of health of the regional assembly, they are doing the same thing. No, they are not doing the same thing. They work together, yes, but they don't do the same thing. Like somebody will say police and gendarmes, since all of them, they are out to implement order, they are doing the same job. Or you say a council police is doing the same job as the police of the republic. They are not doing the same job. They have their specificity that might be similar in other articles, but actually they are different. Now, when we've seen all these commissions and how they function, we are supposed to talk about the weaknesses. And most important commission, the most important commissions in Cameroon that are very important, we have the commission of CONAC. The hard difficulties that we have today in this republic is because we have thieves. The president of the republic, the head of state said, on a le bandit en col blanc. He recognizes it. To appoint somebody, you look at his judicial document. If he has not been sentenced in prison, you look at his educational capacity. If he is intelligent, you appoint him.
But if he decides to go there and be an armed robber, do you accuse the person that appoint them? No, he look at their capacity. He does not look at whether they are saints or not, because the holy person can change tomorrow. So we need CONAC to have that capacity, one, to arrest, and even go to the extent of investigating those properties, auction them, and give the money to the state, the way other countries are doing. That is what we expect at the level of CONAC. And the other most important commission, Cameroon has more than 200 and something villages, ethnic group. It's a problem. You go to Nigeria, yes, they have different tribes, but they are giant tribes, Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba. You go to Rwanda, you have the Hutus and the Tutsi. You realize that there are two major tribes. But in Cameroon, I come from Ndop, Apostle Ambe, and in Ndop, we have 13 villages, 13 different language, 13 different everything. That is even why today, those criminals that have picked up arms, it's difficult for us to collaborate and get them because there are differences. And that is why we need this commission of multiculturalism and bilingualism. And the commission is actually doing its job. Yes, it has its weaknesses, but as one of the viewers sent a message, they need to be empowered, show them their weaknesses so that they should move ahead. Now, I would like to end with this aspect where we'll say if there is a commission of multiculturalism and commission and the Ministry of Culture, one is an organ of the state, which is the government, which is headed by the minister, and the other one are independent commission put in place to handle it independently, so that people will not say
the organs of what?
Pardon?
They are organs of the civil society.
Oh, okay, let me clarify your statement. Okay. Now, the government is there because the head, who is the government? The head of government is the prime minister, and he has his ministers. That is the government. Commissions are created by the head of state, and they are different from the government. And that's why they give their report card, their result to the head of state and not to the government. They don't give their report to the prime minister. They don't give their report to the minister that make up the government. They give it to the head of state. So you realize that they are independent. They give their result differently. So we should not mix the two.
Who is the head of this commission to follow up the implementation of the resolutions of the major national dialogue?
The head of
the commission that is supposed to engage in monitoring and evaluating the recommendations.
I think the head of government is in charge of that.
The prime minister now.
The prime minister, yes, the PM is in charge of that to follow up this. But we are talking about CONAC. CONAC is not part of the institution. Then now, this, let me clarify this other perspective.
Okay.
We talk about the grand national dialogue. Organs were put during that dialogue, which we call Commission of Decentralization, Diaspora, and those are organs. Now, we have, when that organ has been put in place, it is done. We have now commissions that have been put in, which is different from that organ that do their job independently. So we should not mix the two from my perspective.
We should not mix the two. I'll take 2-3 messages and then we get over to Padia Sanga before I get back to you. Now, Paddy, how do we get our commissions to fully meet the expectations of Cameroonians?
Mr. Leo, you see, we are all Cameroonians. We know ourselves, and we know the way we operate. We know everybody's full of, we know where we come from. And I'm going to say certain things here, and I'm going to do it very frank and very straight, without indexing anybody. You see, actually, I am one of those people. My basic training in this legal sphere, but I found myself, because we're just only 8 of us, and other people had chosen to go to other commissions because they wanted to fight for double nationality, because I was conflicting with one of our brothers who wanted to go into the Decentralization Commission. But before getting to that commission of disarmament, demobilization, and de-radicalization, I had already started a job that nobody paid me for it. When I came in 2017, ending 2017, and discovered that the chairman Fundi's house was burned, even before the DDR center was created. I went into the bushes, not because somebody was paying me, but because I knew that it was the right thing to do. And when we talk about follow-up, I don't like to talk about myself, but I like to talk about things that surround the entity, the idea of what we want to do. So what happened? What happened is this. I found myself in that commission, and other people who were also there, I want to ask them their balance sheet. Fayengo is not my friend, but what I'm interested in is the children who are in the bushes. And that is a commission that I am not a permanent member. I was just in that commission during the Grand National Dialogue, but nobody pays me for going after these boys, telling them, sensitizing them, and telling them how to get a safe passage to come out of their bushes. So you have to separate two things. And that is my own social engagement. And you also understand that I came out as a militant of this SDF, supported by SDF parliamentarians, members, and sympathizers, that we should adopt Amber boys who leave the bushes. And I have told you people several times that we have adopted some of them, but we don't have the means to continue adopting everyone who comes out of the bush. So, but we are not telling people to pay us, but because we intend to govern, and we have the mechanism, the thinking, the mindset, and all what it takes to make sure that every citizen who is concerned in a particular situation, ponderated to the reality, will be able to find people who will be able to handle their situation individually. Why are we having social structures? People like to quote Europeans, something that I don't like to do, because their society is structurized differently from our own. Our society is more family built, but the European society is more state dominant, and you cannot see somebody's child very easily in Cameroon or in an African country, but here it's already very easy to do that. As a social worker, I can tell you much. I can epilogate on that from half moon to full moon. So now, we don't judge. If you want to judge, you should look at the individuals who are there. What is their mindset? What is their capacity? What have they done in the past? And what can they do for the future? And what is their vision for make sure? So you separate ad hoc commissions from permanent commission, because when I listened to Kedia speak, I heard him talk about permanent commissions which are in the assembly. You cannot compare permanent commissions in the assembly that have come to stay with ad hoc commissions that have been created to remunerate CPD and militants because of their past service or because of their loyalty to Mr. Biya or to the CPDM Jacobinist government. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Leo. So we have to make that dichotomy and make sure that we put things in place. As I'm saying this today, Governor Fayengo Francis is there. Governor Fayengo Francis doesn't pay me or doesn't know what I do. I do what I do from it. Nobody knows what I do and how I manage to convince and take guns away from people's hands that I never gave them, to tell somebody that this is the right thing to do, whereas I have never met that person. So it takes a certain training as a social worker. I have met people in prison that I don't know, and I make reports saying that this person is not yet fit for the society. And the white people, they take my report seriously, Of course, they crisscross it with other reports from people who do the same that job, and then they come to a logical conclusion. Because most of the time, they send me to go and talk to Africans because they don't understand the Africans, the way Africans articulate when they speak. So when I go to them and I find out that this person is not fit, I don't find that person, but I ask them that, please send another person to go and check and go and do his expertise and then come out with the result. But for now, I think that some other person should go and do his vet that person and see if that person is fit for the society. So those are some of the things that we do, and those are some of the trainings that we have living out here that has permitted us to be passionate about what we do without expecting the government to pay us. I know that at a certain point, we are going to come in power as the SDF or as the opposition, and we will be able to bring this expertise. Contrary to what Kedia is trying to tell you, I am done, and I'm listening to you, Leo. Thank you.
Okay, I get to you now. Prince, we're looking at the independence of these committees. How do we get them more independent and more efficient?
The first thing is competence. Competence, if you want to put someone to head a commission, you will not want to put that person because of your affiliation with the people. Of course, Mr. Leo, we're talking about commissions, but when you look at how the country evolves, I've told those who've taken time to listen that when I look at Cameroon, I always have the impression that Cameroon is ruled like a church. I will not call the particular name so that I don't stigmatize them. Cameroon is ruled in such a way that if Apostle Ambe is our pastor, we can pay transportation from Bange where we have to go and buy in his shop in Akwa, even though your neighbor has it. When you look at those who have been appointed in the different commissions, Mr. Leo, there is no face that is a strange face. All of them are household faces. It means that you create something, somebody who had worked in the government already and has retired, not tired, you bring him back. You say, but this is our man, you bring him back. We can only get people work, Mr. Kum Leonard, if one, people are appointed based on competence. If you look at the Bilingualism Commission, we have guys who left ST, graduates of that institution, who do translation and interpretation. That's where we're thinking they should be. When you look at other commissions, look at even CONAC. But in Cameroon, once a commission is created, you go and look for your old friends, those who have been with you, and you're like, it's just like Mr. Leo tomorrow becomes president, which I'm sure someday you will be, and you say, okay, I remember Prince, we in my meeting, you keep me somewhere. That's how the government is. Look at the simplest of examples, Mr. Leo. Look at those who are appointed, the senators, the 30. You think that there's a stranger amongst them? There's none. They are household faces. There are people we know. It's difficult in Cameroon to have someone who comes from nowhere. Extremely. So the people can only work if one, you go for competence. That's the first. Let's go for competence. And secondly, Mr. Leo, we can also have them work if you let them take their decisions. In Cameroon, we have public contracts, we have public works. Ibrahim Tabamala is in charge of public contracts but at the presidency. It means there's someone already. So it becomes difficult. I think that a country can work, Mr. Leo. If you come to my media prime, Mr. Kum Leonard is a director, there's an editor-in-chief, there is chief of programs. Let each person have their job. But when we have a country like what we have in Cameroon, where everything goes to the presidency, comes back, goes, comes back. That's why you have the PM will take a decision and some other person counteracts, whereas the PM is head of government. So I think that if we appoint on competence, one, secondly, those who are in charge. Apostle said something, and the same question you asked Kedia, which is simple. There is justice in Cameroon. Let not Kona go and no. Let the Justice Department try you and charge you. If we have the Bilingualism Commission that is there to fight xenophobia, hate speech, and things like that, let Peter Mafani Mosongo, who is the head of that commission, have the power to say, okay, Prince, because you came and said this person is this, you're kept. But now, a meeting takes place between the three ministries that are concerned. 2 days after, the gendarmerie boss comes up. You're asking yourself, why the cacophony? Let one person take decisions and let the person be able to apply. Because, Apostle, yes, you don't give people power and hold it back. Because Kedia said something about when you look at the police and the gendarmerie, similarly they are doing the same thing, because you convocate there, the judge try you and they keep you. If they think that you're guilty, they keep you, right. It's the same thing. I feel that it would have been easier, Mr. Kum Leonard, if people had the powers to judge, to take actions. But now the issue has always been the people who want to do it have the willingness, have the zeal, but
okay, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, how do we get these commissions more empowered so that they can take up projects or investigate issues and take them to the expected conclusion, deliver sentences? Are they also incapacitated because they have to report to some high quarters? They themselves were appointed by some persons, or maybe they are investigating persons who have godfathers up there. Yeah.
Mr. Leo, one of the independent sectors of a country is the judiciary. As powerful as the judiciary is in this Cameroon, it's not independent. They are talking about a commission that spontaneously sprang up as a result of a situation on ground, because these commissions were created as a result of situations that came up. So you don't expect something that was just created as a result of a situation to be as empowered, while the judiciary that also has an independent sector in the country does not have such power. The system of governance in this country is a major challenge. And that is the reason why we keep sounding it on this platform, that creating commission is not the issue. Empowering the people who head those commissions, no matter how intelligent somebody is, he needs authority to exercise that intelligence. No matter how brilliant anybody is, he needs authority to exercise that intelligence. If at all as brilliant as a journalist as you are not given the power to exercise that skill here, it will choke you. It's like a seed growing in the midst of thorns. The parable of the sower says some of the seed fell in the midst of thorns, and the thorns choked them and they could not grow. There was capacity in the seed, but the environment could not allow the seed to excel. The environment which you are placed determines the kind of fruit you will produce. These guys are just giving these responsibilities to man over them, but they don't give them the authority that they deserve to execute. Because I think the Commission of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism fighting history is supposed to have its own police. They're supposed to have their own police where they are going down to the field, terrain work. When they are coming, they arrest you, or probably they can get to the Commission of the Environment, they get you arrested for doing this. And when people are being disciplined on particular issues, it should be made public so that others will learn to understand that this thing is as serious as it is. But the way they will say, they sanction without any visibility. The only thing in this country that they sanction are armed robbers, as in court, they put on television. Umaru Santos, Peter Nche, this one they say, or the captures on Yahoo guys they put on television. You will never hear the military man that shot in Gabu being put in front of the screen. They will only say il était sanctionné. You will never hear a man who carry out an act of hate speech, il était sanctionné. That guy Bala who did that nonsense video that circulated everywhere, we have just heard that he has been sanctioned. He was normally supposed to be put on television, CRU TV, with that thing on his chest, Sebastian Bala, sanctioned for his speech, the same, because that's an act of an armed robber. He is not different from an armed robber, because he is breaking through. It's a criminal offense. He is breaking through. It's burglary with his mouth.
Insulting women of a
That's
region.
burglary with his mouth. Why an armed robber does burglary with gun? So this man is an armed robber. He was supposed to be put on national television. Sebastien Bala accusé for hate speech and sentenced to Kondengi for 1 year. But we're hearing that he has been disciplined. Under what circumstance? Because we don't even know if he has been disciplined. What will instill fear in the hearts of Cameroonians to know that when you want to utter words next time, you be very, very careful. That was not an insult to an individual. He insulted an entire region. That was exaggerated hate speech that he was supposed to be an example for sampling so that others could look and say, no, this thing is very, very serious. He insulted women, insulted individuals that they are thinking. Mothers of that matter. That if we want to start ascertaining these regions now and want to speak there, the hate speech will turn to another fight. But we will not do that because they say if you follow somebody who is naked as a madman, when you are bathing, if you collect your dress, you're also a madman. We will not follow that Sebastien Bala to speak back. But we want those who are in charge of discipline to make sure that this man is brought in front of television with a placard on his chest because he did armed robbery by invading Northwest and South and insulting mothers there. And if you put that Sebastien Bala arrested for hate speech in this country and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment according to the penal code. That's the kind of thing we want to hear. And I think the head of that commission is supposed to be the one to come on air to use this guy as a sample to deal with. Because in Europe and America, when they want to put an end to something, the individuals who are caught as culprits, they are brought before the screen. And discipline is being meted upon them. And then everyone that sees it knows that this thing is very serious. Our disciplines end behind bars. That guy has done it and has gone scot-free. Somebody can be bold enough tomorrow to still come up again and say it and he dies there. How do you explain that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Communication and Multiculturalism President sits down to discuss something, the next day they fight in Tamalima? What's the essence of the meeting? What fruit did the meeting produce? They are trying to solve a problem today. The next day something of that sort is happening because someone is considered a stranger in his own country. That's one other thing they have to fight. These names we are calling individuals from different regions that come to stay in our region is another serious cankerworm eating into the very fabrics of this country. And I think that that thing should be fought. Yes. Those who when I used to school, I used to school in Bonyongo. Okay. Yes, I schooled in Bonyongo. I schooled there from 1 to 5. Okay. They used to call others came from Northwest Bajili. Yes, Bajili. That means Bamenda. So those kind of things are things that they need to fight because I'm not a stranger in the South. I'm a Cameroonian. The territorial integrity of this country and the boundaries permit me to settle anywhere.
Okay. Good evening to you, Cornelius, free thinker writing there. Messages are just coming in. Difficult to read at times. But let me just take 2 messages if they permit. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Discipline is what has killed trust in both the people and the government. Some commissions have often failed because those involved often hide the truth from their master. When the problems reoccur, the government do not hold these people liable for mishandling the issues. Instead, they are promoted. Okay. Iwi Elizabeth, the Iron Lady, is writing from Womb, Chieftain of Menchum Division. Good evening to all of you watching us from that part of the nation. Good evening, Mr. Kum. There are still documents leaving the Ministry of Basic Education to the Northwest purely in French, despite the fact that there exists a commission on bilingualism. Chair Andreas Ambe is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, I'm Onana Godson. Today is my grandmother's birthday. Please help me wish her a happy birthday, and wish me good luck. I'm writing GC ordinary level. Okay. Happy happy birthday to your grandmother, and I pray that I pray that you come out in flying colors after the results of the GC are released. And we're going to get the last intervention of our Paddy Sanga. Paddy, how does the SDF hope to tackle some of this problem, given that Cameroon is also facing serious economic and financial issues? Do you think there is need to downsize on the existing commissions and fall back on the existing ministries?
Mr. Leo, you know the of SDF. The SDF is one Cameroon in its diversity. That is our unity in our diversity, respecting our cultural and multilingual heritage, not forgetting the fact that